All right, Feisties, it's Kelly here, and Laura Siddall is joining me because, man, Sid, Joanne is literally doing the welcome banquet right now as we're recording this in Spain, and then Katie has like a sick kid and the flu, so it's you and me holding down the 70.3. Yeah.
You pulled the short straw. I thought I was just on for a brief 70.3 review. Now you got the whole show.
And we're like recording, we're all off today. I was at this conference all day yesterday. They do this like female athlete research meeting at Stanford. And so I drove down to Stanford. And it's interesting. I don't know how much you follow. Like there's a growing body of research on like female athletes, sports science, that kind of stuff. But the stuff they're doing at Stanford is, you know, how can we use virtual reality to train the brain on ACL like management? And I feel like, because ACL tears are disproportionately hit women, yep. Right? It's a big problem.
Yep.
So they're like studying that, and literally like the girls playing soccer at the high school down the street aren't doing, you know, the prehab exercises that we already know work, right? So you're like, I feel like there's this massive disconnect. Yeah. But it's super interesting.
I saw a bit of research recently. I was reading one of those things that came through on Substack by someone pretty established in the sports science world. And I can't even remember what the research was on now, but the study was just on men. And I was like, are we still here? Sure. Are we still just doing like, and they did, at the very bottom, they did reference, they were like, oh, it is a small study and it is purely men, kind of sort of apologies. But I was still like, are we still on this?
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's just sort of like, you know, that is the what's the word? The default, the how it goes. And we're trying to like, and there's a lot of work still to change that. But there are these institutions, like there's kind of a whole little alliance across schools where, so like Harvard and Boston University and Stanford and San Diego. And like, there's a bunch of schools doing, you know, working on different parts of different projects all under this like female athlete alliance. Always sounds really like sketchy. Consortium, whatever.
Yeah. But was it interesting? Was it good?
Yeah, so there's a lot of, so, you know, we covered all the big topics, and sometimes, obviously, like, we get tired of hearing about these topics, like, eat more, people. But we still, you know, there's still a lot of research to show that you need to eat more, and it helps. But some of the new stuff, I will say, I am concerned. This is like underlying everything is kind of this, there is a wave of younger women, especially younger active women who feel like the healthcare system doesn't listen to them, who are kind of going away from doctors and science, and because they don't listen to them. And they're getting a lot of information from TikTok, from influencers, from podcasts, obviously. And I mean, obviously there are good sources out there, but there's also just, and some of that trend is very much in the direction of anti a lot of things. I don't know. So it's concerning.
It is like, I guess it's the Dr. Google, isn't it? And the AI or the influencer space. And yeah, there are a lot of good, valuable people out there with the right experience who are trying to share their knowledge and share the messages. But there's also a lot, as with anything, that is not as valuable. And it is worrying if, like, to hear you say that people are going away from actual sort of, qualified.
I mean, I think it's a reaction to, like, you know, a lot of people have been dismissed or ignored, or, right? Like, how many times do we hear that, like, women are ignored by their doctors, or they go in and they say, like, I have this problem, and it's like, well, have you tried exercising? And you're like, fuck off, like, right? And so, of course, you're going to be like, well, and even at these conferences, the academics will be like, oh, they'll poo-poo, like, oh, well, everyone's getting their information from TikTok. And instead of saying, like, well, why don't we, as, you know, the Stanford research, go on TikTok and do good information? They're just like, oh, well, they shouldn't be doing that. And you're like, well, that's not helpful, guys.
Go to where the audience is. Go to where the masses are. Go to where the audience is.
Or, for example, you know, this ongoing conversation about training with your menstrual cycle. All the academics are like, well, there's not research. I mean, women might feel like there's an impact, but the research... And you're like, well, that sounds very belittling, right? Like, oh, well, women just think there's an impact. And you're like,
Yes. Because, yes. And let me wonder if it's all a bunch of academic men saying that.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, no wonder they're getting their information from TikTok. Because you're like belittling their concerns. So true. There is that.
Very true.
That like underpins a lot of these kinds of conferences. And I'm always like, oh, makes me. Yeah. But that is why we are recording our 70.3
obviously
Worlds
everything
preview.
and obviously everything we say on here is very
Super
scientific
official.
data. It is true. It is
100%.
100%.
I was gonna say we're actually recording this podcast super last minute so that we can get the most up to date start list. And still, I feel like between when we record this and when it goes out in 12 hours, someone's gonna pull out.
I think so too, and I think definitely between now and when the race starts, there's going to be another couple of names dropping on both sides, I think. But yeah, more so I think the women's side, just because of that close proximity to Kona, and I think how brutal that race was. But we can get into that.
So before we're gonna do a full Marbella preview. Before we do though, Sid, this slot allocation thing. I mean, you and I have been texting about it. I feel like we gotta come back to it. Part of me, so for people who haven't been following, the new Ironman qualification system for 2026, every winner gets a spot in their age group, and then there's like these performance pool spots. They're supposed to be allocated via this like calculation of who is the best. And I think one thing was said and promised, like, 35% of slots will go to women. It'll be across age groups. And then what is actually happening is 5% of the slots are going to women or whatever, and it's heavily 50-something men, right? And I am not going to debate who's better or not better because I think it's a dumbass fucking debate because 54-year-old men don't compete against 17-year-old women for a bowl.
And shouldn't compete against. Like, why? Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, like, who thinks they're better and who doesn't. Yeah. What matters is that this is not how this was supposed to work out, and it's not going well, man.
Yeah, and I feel that, like, something needs to be done pretty quickly or said pretty quickly. The fact that nothing's been said or acknowledged, I think, is a little disappointing. And also then when something is said or done, or at least we get clarification, like what are they going to do retrospectively to these women who deserve to be there and have missed out? And I think actually it was probably a post from you that you wrote, like, and I'm not sure why we didn't pick up on this earlier when we were looking into like the new system, and we thought going on previous years it would give more, we're saying that there are some competitive women not getting slots that are more competitive than the lower down age group men who are getting slots, and we thought this system was going to help with that. But I think it comes down to like I think you indicated then, why are we comparing men to women? Like it just shouldn't be a comparison. The women should have 50% of the slots, the men should have 50% of the slots. Even if it's not that, let's say it's 60-40, let's start there. And then the women's slots should all be, because looking at those numbers that came out today on the Women in Tri and the Live Feisty reports. Women
in Tri UK has been tracking this over the first however many races. So has a couple of people online, like Phil and Cox, and so they just updated. And for the first 16 races, 24% of the overall slots have gone to women. But that counts all the age group winners. Out of the performance slots, 15 have gone to women.
15,
total.
15 slots. That's not even 15%, people. That's 15 slots compared to 357.
Yes.
And that just, for me, blew my mind. And I'm like, why is Ironman quiet on this at the moment? Why isn't anything being said? I get it. We're going into 70.3 Worlds. Maybe they're waiting to get through that. But, it's Arizona the week after 70.3 Worlds. That's a massive race. And if we're still haven't done anything to rectify this, like we're not achieving anything that Ironman have said they've wanted to achieve, like investing in women, and off the back of the reports and the surveys they did last year, like which age groups are the growth age groups. Well, we're not supporting them in any way. We're not showing them that there's an opportunity there. And I think, so I will say one plea to people is female athletes who are listening. I think the female athletes, the age groupers, need to write to Ironman.
Yes.
They need to raise it, because it doesn't help. Like, we can raise it all we like, but if it actually comes from the athletes in the races who are experiencing it, and the more people that speak up about it to Ironman, the more likely that they're going to have to feel something needs to be done. like, yes, we will talk to whoever we can and we will keep raising it and we can post stuff. But unless the actual women in the races speak up, and I'm saying that because I feel they're sort of disheartened and they're just walking away and going.
I think to a degree they are.
Like,
I think to a degree they're
no
going,
point.
fuck this, no point. But I think you're right, because a lot of people ask me why. Well, one, I think it's slowly built, right? Like, we kind of saw this happening at the first few races, and it was like, well, maybe that race was weird, maybe. And now it just keeps building, right? So we had 2 more races this past weekend where no women got performance spots, right? So it keeps building. And I think, to your point, a lot of people have asked, why hasn't Ironman said anything, or why haven't they done anything? And I think they're used to hearing complaints from customers. So there's an amount where you're just like, oh, some people are complaining again, and they think this will blow over. And to your point, I think that's because they hear very, very heavily from their existing core base, which is a lot of men who think that this is good or fine. And so you have to, and they don't hear a lot from women generally, and they don't hear a lot, you know what I'm saying? Historically, men make their voices heard more. And I think they hear those so they hear a lot of people, and they're like, oh, well, this will blow over. Some people think one thing, some people think another. And I do think the more people who point out that this is just not working out, it's not going the way anyone wanted it to.
Yeah, and like you said, they're listening to who they think, speaks up and stuff. Mm-hmm. But if everything they've said in their research is we want to invest in women, how do we promote the women? Well, listen to the women then.
Sure.
And so again, a plea to the women, please say something. I did notice today that Mark Allen, who off the back of Kona has been quite vocal on this subject, and today he is raising a petition, I think, to present, which, yes, great, women, please sign that, whatever it is, but don't just rely on that. Please speak up on your own voice. And also my thing to Mark Allen is one, thank you, but could you not have done this a few years ago when we've been fighting for it? And why now? And can you just go to Scott Deroux and talk to him? We don't need to go through this whole survey.
He might be able to just go to CEO Scott, for sure.
Yeah.
I think right now is because it feels like it's coming to a head. I think right now is because, sometimes it takes things going really, really badly. In America for people to realize that that went really, really badly. So part of me, part of me is sort of if this had just gone mediocre, it would have just sort of passed. I still would have been this is bullshit. You're still going to lose women, but it's going so badly that actually people are what the hell? So.
Yeah. And so I think, again, like I said, let's get behind whatever the petition is, but also just raise your voices. The other interesting thing I thought, hearing from friends who are on the ground in Marbella, they did host a Women for Try breakfast, or whatever we want to call it. I'm not sure if that was the official name, yesterday. And Scott Deroux was there presenting. Now, I haven't heard huge amounts off the back of that and the feedback of how that went and what the topics were in the conversation, but I hope that there was a swell of voices that said, hey, we need to do. I don't know if it would have happened with it being a breakfast. I think it was more a presentation. I'm not so sure there was Q&A as such, but again, interesting move. If you're holding a Women for Try breakfast, you're obviously wanting to say, hey, you're important to us. So now you got to do something, and you got to listen to us and say, these age group women are getting screwed, and this is not what you thought would happen, or not what we all thought would happen.
That's what I thought would happen, to be super clear. But
there we go.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is out there. I'm just saying this now on the podcast because we get messages every day from women who are like, oh my God, did you see what happened in Florida? Did you see what happened in this Ironman? What can we do? And so we're telling you, I am aware of it. We are aware of it. We have written about it. We have been working with women and try to track it. You can contact Ironman. Emails are fairly easy to find. I won't put them out on a podcast, but you can find people's
Put it in
emails.
the show notes.
Right. And you can email them. You should make it known. Like, they are aware this is a problem. So the more that it's like, oh, this problem isn't going away, the more they will actually address it. So I just wanted to say that because we do hear from people a lot. So
Yeah.
yes. And I'm always like, I'm not the one you should be telling. I know. So
Yeah. And you know, and it's valid. Like, we want to obviously hear from the women around what is happening and stuff. But yes, please go to Ironman and raise your concerns with them as well. We will keep fighting from our side. But yeah, if they hear it direct from the athletes, it's going to be more only add weight and be more powerful.
Hey Feisties, Sarah Gross here. We are so excited to be back with you here on our new, shiny, Feisty Triathlon podcast. Thank you for listening. I am so glad you're here. I want to tell you about one of the Feisty team's favorite recovery products, Previnex's Neurify Plus. I use the chocolate flavor myself every day to support my strength training. At Feisty, we only support brands that our team uses and products that deliver results we have seen for ourselves. Previnex's Neurify Plus is one of the best tasting plant-based and vegan shakes I've tried, and trust me, I've tried a lot. It contains balanced protein, carbs, and fat with comprehensive, high-quality micronutrients to help fuel your health. It also contains probiotics and digestive enzymes, so it's super easy to digest and doesn't give you that bloaty, gassy kind of effect that other protein products can produce. Unlike most supplement brands, Previnex tests everything with pharmaceutical-grade precision, and they also offer a 100% money-back guarantee. So try Neurify Plus or any Previnex product today, and you get 15% off your first order with the code FEISTYTRY at Previnex.com. That's FEISTYTRY for 15% off at Previnex.com. The link will be, as always, in the show notes.
Hate indoor training? We have great news. We have partnered with Wahoo to offer you a special deal on the Wahoo Kicker Run, a treadmill that will convert even the most diehard treadmill haters. Wahoo, the same company that revolutionized indoor cycling training, has literally broken the treadmill mold with this machine. With its special run-free mode, you can just hop on it and run. It naturally adjusts the pace as you do, just like you would outdoors. Speed up, slow down, it moves with you as you do. It can also simulate the terrain by subtly tilting the angle from side to side, so again you feel like you're really running, not locked into an unnatural pace or place. Or you can lock it in or even program workouts, so it does put you through your training paces, including both inclines and declines. And it's stunningly quiet, even when you're humming along full tilt. Even if you love training outdoors, the Kicker Run is a game changer for year-round training. No more trying to navigate ice-covered roads, awful weather, or worrying about going out in the dark. We love it, and we think you will too, so check it out. Click the link in the show notes and use the code FEISTY, all caps, one word, FEISTY, to get a free Headwind smart fan valued at $300 with the purchase of a Wahoo Kicker Run. That's code FEISTY to get a free fan when you purchase a Wahoo Kicker Run. We will drop a link in the show notes to make it a snap. And right now, Wahoo is running a massive sale of 25% off the Wahoo Kicker Run. So click that link and get yours today.
So, Marbella. There are 2,600 women racing, apparently, and about 3,600 men. That is a lot of athletes. I think that's the biggest 70.3 worlds we've had to date.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's my understanding, because it's like 6,300, something like that. About 6,300. Which is a lot, you know? And let's talk about the course a little bit. Obviously, this is a new-ish course, so I don't think we've seen it fully before, but we have a one-lap ocean or sea swim. Sea. And then a kind of a very hilly bike course, 6,000 feet of elevation, but it's not super, super technical. I mean, it is European. But it's not like the most technical out there. And then we have a 2-loop flat along the water run course with like one little hill in the middle. Very Nice-like to me, very European-like to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's just good. We're going to see those like strong cyclists, those European athletes who excel.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's sort of the course description. I've heard T2 is in a car park. Not sure if that's true or not. It is a split transition, but not very far away. They're pretty. T1 is on the beach, I think, and the finish line. From what I'm hearing from athletes on the ground who have got there now, whether they worked themselves up into a frenzy before thinking it was a lot worse than it is, and then they've got there and they've driven or ridden it and they're like, oh, it's not as bad as we thought. So I think it's, yes, there's a lot of elevation. I think a half distance, I don't think it's as scary as Nice was. And I think that's probably reflected in the numbers as well, like 2,600 women being there. It's an out and back, and it has got significant climbing, obviously, on the way out and the way back. But I don't think it's particularly technical like the Nice course was, with those sort of winding, sharp corners on the descent. You do come back on a slightly different road to the way out.
I was going to say, I think it's more like lollipop-ish,
I think.
Kind of, but
it's like a bulge in the middle.
Nice.
There's like a bulge in the middle. So I think it's as you go up and over the high point, you come back on a slightly different road. But I think, yes, we are going to see, I think it's also, there's a lot of excitement about the course from what I'm hearing, a lot, particularly amongst the pros. Can't comment on the age groupers. The age group feedback is not as bad as they thought it was. But I think the pros, there's a lot of them like frothing over how good the bike course is. And I think, yes, very European in terms of that Nice Spanish type. You've got those mountains, but then you've got a promenade or the avenues and stuff for the run, and it's on the beachfront, which is, that again, that's like coastal European, very typical. So hopefully that also brings out a lot of support on the run.
Right. And obviously, one of the big appeals of 70.3 Worlds is like the 2-day, and so the women can cheer for the men. I mean, I don't think the men come out as much the day before because they have to rest their legs, but they still come out some. And you have all the spectators there with them. You have 6,000 athletes cruise with them, so it does make it a lot bigger. I do think it does seem like an awesome course for the pros. For the age groupers, I feel like if I was one of those 3,600 men, I would be a little nervous about that descending. I would be like, ooh.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not,
I also,
too crowded.
Yeah. It's funny, that argument, like we've had this off air, like conversation between who goes first. Do the women go first or the men go first? And typically the women always race first.
Well, no, to be fair,
like,
in World Tri, they switch all the time. They always switch.
Okay, in World Tri,
always rotate.
Yes. But in
70.3 Worlds,
in 70.3 Worlds,
it has always gone women and then men. Early on, there was discussion about why don't they just switch every year? And then that just sort of died out, and we've had other things to argue about. And
yeah. And on principle, I do think they should switch it every year. I do know, however, it is quite nice as a female to then go and watch the men. But I do think it also then skews any data, because obviously more people will watch the second day of racing because all the first day people have raced, which is like you said, whereas a lot of the men will be at home putting their feet up and won't necessarily come out for all the race. I also want to say I feel sorry, and it's because it would be my age group, the 45 to 49 women who are shafted yet again.
Are they going last?
They were in Kona. Yes, they were in Kona. They were last, and they are in 70.3 Marbella. So I am sorry. Yeah.
There is a calculation that goes heavily into spacing of age groups, and it has to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want there to be not the fastest age group first, because you don't want them catching the back of the pros. You want like some of the slower, I'm saying in quotations, age groups. But then you want to put like the fastest, some fast age, like you want to space out the fast age groups so they don't run into each other and give. So they do put a lot of thought into this, but I can see how it then leads to the same general.
Again, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And I didn't realize that, but I assume there must be some form into it. But when it's the same, like just then rotate it or something, or like not have it. These same poor 45 to 49 year olds got screwed in Kona. And also it's a late start in Marbella. The pros don't start till 8 a.m.
They start at like 7:40 or something like that, 7:50.
Yeah. So it's almost 8 a.m., which is very European. But it does mean that those end age groups, and I think maybe even worse so for the men because they're spaced a little bit further apart because of the sizes.
There's so many,
Yeah, they're not starting till like mid-morning.
Oh, I was
kind
gonna
of
say, I
thing.
guess I could pull it
But
up,
anyway.
but yeah, they must be starting all the way through. The men they start all the way till 10 a.m., whereas the women get done by 9:30. So there you go.
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, it'll be I don't think the weather's been a huge discussion or concern, but of course, by the afternoon on a promenade, it gets hot. Let's talk about this pro field though. As we start, I kind of teased early, the big thing is going to be like who actually starts. We've been joking like start list does not equal starting, does not equal finishing, because I strongly suspect in the next 24 hours, some people are going to realize they are too tired and they don't start. And then some people are going to get out there like halfway on that bike course and realize like, oh, this was a bad idea. Like, cause it's just been a long season and Kona was so free recently that I like today, literally as we were getting on, Indy Lee was like, I thought I was good, but I'm not. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And she dropped out. So it's going to happen.
And I think, look, there's always this massive impact from an Ironman, and particularly the Ironman World Championships, and let's say particularly Kona. And obviously, yes, from Nice, but obviously Kona was a lot more recent to Nice in the men. And I just think that race took so much out of women, whether they finished that race or didn't finish that race. Like, let's look at Solveig Lofseth, rookie winner, like the amount of, I'm sure she's been pulled in every direction since she won. So that mental toll, the physical toll, has she been able to recover enough? Even like Kat Matthews has said it herself as well. Laura Phillips isn't racing, so she's said it, and now Indy Lee obviously has pulled out.
Lisa Perderer pulled out.
Lisa Perderer, I think she was a pretty early decision.
She was.
Though,
it was about a week
Kona,
ago.
But yes.
Yeah. And reportedly, Laura kind of thought she might not race pretty quickly too, but was leaving it open. So there's always the who's saying what publicly versus
completely. And then conversely on that, like I don't know when Lucy Charles and her team made the decision, but I know for Taylor it was very last minute, and literally like Sunday, Monday when she got the flight out there was literally it was to the wire on whether she was going or not. I am still interested to see how those two have pulled up, of course, and I really hope they have, and I'm sure they do, and I know I've heard rumors that Taylor's just fed up of everyone putting their opinion on her of what she should or shouldn't do. So I'm trying not to do that, and I just hope, she's obviously a racer, she wants to race, but I'm sure they have the right people in their corner to say they are good to race, and they will be sensible enough on the day to know if things are going south.
And what did we learn about Taylor, like the year that she did Kona and got fourth? Like Taylor's going to do what Taylor wants to do, man. Like, and
exactly.
She has a strong opinions, a strong personality. Like, that's fine. But yeah, obviously the big question, of course, is Lucy and Taylor. Like coming off those DNFs at Kona, that heat I mean, I don't think we know officially what the term was, but they clearly overheated. Neither of them remembers large chunks of the race around like the sitting down and blacking out.
After.
Yeah. And their core temperatures were very, very elevated for a long time. And we know, like, we just literally know it takes a long time to recover that. We like Sarah True's talked about it. I mean, you can look at literally in running, like Alberto Salazar, like did it to himself, right? Like it takes a while. So it's been an open question how they are. I still think I still would not be shocked if, it turns out one of them in the recording of like between now and when this goes up decides like, actually I need to rest. Assuming they make it to the start line and they actually get out there, Laura, are they going to be in top form?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. And I must admit, I know they've had the press conference today and I haven't listened to that, so I don't know the answers of the women out there. I know for sure Taylor wasn't doing much at the start, like straight after Kona. She was taking it very seriously and was on strict rest. But I know too, like you look at Kat Matthews, I know she said she partied hard but struggled to get back motivation.
Sure.
I do feel out of the three of them, but then this might just be going on, again, social media and public. Kat is probably in the best shape out of all of them,
including
or the best
Kat
form.
In the I was putting Taylor and Lucy in a separate category.
I know you were, but I've now just like brought Kat in. Between Taylor and Lucy, God, I just don't know. I mean, on the outside, it looks like Taylor was in a lot worse position when she kind of collapsed than Lucy was. But Taylor's was she'd either managed to hide it very well or control it very well, and then it was all of a sudden lights out, whereas Lucy, you could see it it was going on for longer. I don't know. I'm no medical expert, and I don't know the inside on who was worse, or if it really matters who was worse. It doesn't. They're both both said
it doesn't matter who is worse. It's more a question. I think if we're literally just then looking at 70.3 worlds in terms of like how could this play out, how will this go down, who could win,
I think
then it's like usually you would be like, well, this is Taylor's race or Lucy's, right? Like Lucy's gonna be from the gun. Taylor will try to get up to her. They will try to bike away. Normally that's what you would say. I don't know, and I think the question, and I don't think they know, I don't think anyone knows how good form how much that is still going to be true, right, on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
and I think also, like, if you look at how Kona played out, but we're talking about half the distance, and we have some other great swimmers in the 70.3 race. So will Lucy have a gap out the water? Potentially, but not as big as she had in Kona. And potentially she won't be. She might have a Jess Learmonth with her. And if Jess is there, maybe Taylor is with her, and the Georgia Taylor Brown, because they've been able to swim with Lucy over the shorter distance this year, or not too far behind.
And because we do have some of those WTCS athletes kind of coming in here. So
yes. So Lucy, look, I think this course in theory suits Lucy. She knows how to race off the front. We saw her win in 22 on a very hard course like St. George, which had hills. But we've also seen Taylor. She's won the last 3 years. This also is particularly suited to Taylor as well. And if she is with Lucy near the front, I think the power will be if it's Taylor and Jess Learmonth. I think that's the danger pair on the bike, like a swim bike combo. And it'll be whether that gap, where is Kat coming out the water? I think, as always, is that question. If she can get on the back of that front group, or that lead group, or that front group, I think people are in danger.
I will say, here's my hot take is I think it's Kat's to win. I think, she'll need to, if she can attach herself to the back of the front swim group or not get too much of a deficit. I just think she is so strong on the bike run, and she has dedicated so much time this year to improving her bike. I don't think we fully saw that in Kona, just because of the way, like, the weird dynamics of that group played out. And she's just hands down one of the 3 fastest runners in this field, 2 fastest runners. Like, so if it's close coming to T2, I think Kat wins it, right? So
yeah, interestingly enough, I was looking at some of the predictions on this, and like on the run, Kat is down as the fastest run, but only by like 5 seconds over Lucy, which I thought was quite bizarre. I think the other interesting thing, I don't think we did see Kat's bike in Kona. But I think if Solveig comes out the swim with Kat, which I think Solveig will see as a disappointing swim, as she sort of said in Kona, she expected to be higher up. However, knowing now Solveig's bike strength and Kat's bike strength, they could use each other, and I would put Kat as a better runner over Solveig. But I do think, as you mentioned, maybe not for the win, but people we need to look out for is like a Tanja Neubert from Germany. She's come off the back of WTS. She finished 9th in Wollongong a couple of weeks ago. She's had like pretty much top 10 finishes over the whole of the WTCS. And I think she might be a bit of a dark horse because she raced Bahrain 70.3 in December last year, and that's how she qualified.
She was right behind Georgia at Bahrain 70.3.
Yes.
And now Georgia, Taylor Brown, it's a little, I mean, she's done 9 races in 10 weeks or something like that. So I don't think we're quite clear, like, how much of a focus this is for her and how much she's, like, having a holiday with Vince.
This was in her year of not doing triathlon.
Right. This is, like, her year of, like, doing random
year
things.
Off playing.
So it's possible that we see another, like, yes, like you said, like we see this front group of crazy good WTCS swimmers, bikers with a Jess and a Georgia, and we have Tanja in there, and the other WTCS athlete that is like she's not is interesting to me is Emily Morer. She's like very, very young, but we know she can bike. She raced pro cycling all year. She raced the Tour de France Femmes. And like you're like,
You put this in the notes and I hadn't picked up on her.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that about her in terms of racing the Tour de France. So, yes, very interesting to see. I had down that she one of the ones that pulled out. I had Rochelle Hill in there, who was the under-23 world champ from Wollongong.
Is Rochelle still racing? I thought she had pulled out. Yeah.
No, she's not. She's pulled out. Yeah. So that was my other WTS, and I wasn't aware of.
But yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic where we are like we like everyone has to focus on these like the big hitters. I'm saying in quotes like the Kat, the Lucy, the Taylor, but then there's obviously you have your 70.3 specialist. You have like Paula. Paula's going to be up there.
I was going to say that. Yeah. So Paula has said she's had some injury issues, but she says her biking is going really well, and she has been named quite a lot in sort of the mix of the favorites. She's obviously had a successful year over 70.3s. I think four wins potentially. Is it four out of 7? But we haven't seen her. She's raced T100, so we've had a fairly good gauge there, and she's had some, I guess, top 5-ish. But you just, I don't know. Again, Paula's not one of those that you can kind of like write off, so to speak, or forget about, because she's going to be. But it'll be. I don't know where she'll come out with the swim. Like her and Kat, like is it her, Kat, and Solveig coming out the water together?
Or is there, because I think there's sort of this like, we have this like in our heads, right? There's this front group of the swim, this like Lucy, and maybe you get like a Jess, and then if there's Jess, maybe Taylor sticks on, right? And then there's this second group that's like, maybe Kat can stick to Solveig, but there's somewhere in between there that there's a whole bunch of athletes that you just like sort of don't know that like could fit in there, and then they may not play in like the top 5 overall, like, but they'll change the dynamic, especially some of these like WTCS, right? So that's where it's like, where is the break going to be where there's actually a new group, and where is it just going to be like a long string of people between that front group and that second group?
Regular listeners of Feisty podcasts will not be surprised to learn that for decades, running shoes have been researched, tested, and designed for men. Brands have relied on the shrink it and pink it approach to sell male shoes to female customers. But women's feet differ from men's in numerous ways. We have increased toe splay, higher arches, a more narrow heel, a lower ankle bone, upward angled toenails, and a rounded instep that is smaller in circumference. And because of all those differences, that is why we need HEDAs. HEDAs has unlocked the science behind women's biomechanics through dedicated research and creates running shoes specifically designed for women. So that means a lower heel collar to reduce rubbing on women's ankle bones, plate design to provide heel stability and to decelerate foot impact, rounded instep creating a snug fit through the middle to match the curvature of a woman's foot. Every feature is designed to give you more power and less problems. Breathability that lets your feet breathe easily mile after mile, plus fast-drying tech that doesn't allow sweat to slow you down, adaptive stretch that molds to your foot like it was made just for you. I personally have been running in HEDAs for over 2 years, and from the first time I tried them, I knew that there was something different. They really felt like they were made for me. The shoes are super light but provide good cushioning, and they really support my very high arches. I honestly didn't think I would notice the difference after running for so many years in male model shoes, but I really did. So, try HEDAs for yourself today. Go to hedas.com and use the code STAYFEISTY for 20% off. That is Stay Feisty for 20% off at hedas.com. The link will, as always, be in the show notes.
Feisties, you're probably already thinking about your 2026 goals. Maybe it's pinning on a race number, hanging strong on that one group ride that's really always a race, or finally tackling an epic cycling adventure. Whatever your goal, it starts this winter. Our Feisty Winter Training for Cyclists is a 16-week group coaching program for women who want to train smart, ride strong, and thrive together. Led by coach Sharina Bishop Gordon, the program kicks off December 1st and runs through March 31st. You'll get structured rides, weekly strength sessions, and expert-led education that explains the why behind your training. You'll learn how your body adapts, how to fuel it well, and how to make training fit your life, not the other way around. You'll also be part of a supportive community that gets it, where you can ask questions, share wins, and laugh through the tough workouts together. So this winter, let's lay the right foundation, build your strength, confidence, and community, and have a lot of fun doing it. To join Winter Training for Cyclists, go to feisty.co and look for the yellow banner at the top of the page. To save $50, use the code TRY50, TRI50, all one word, TRY50, to save $50 at feisty.co.
Do you attack hard on the hill on the way out of town, knowing that you get a bit of recovery but maybe can get away, or do you wait until the hill at the end, like on the way back?
Interesting.
I don't know. Yes.
Probably depends on if you're Lucy or if you're Kat, you know? So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's other, like, we mentioned, like, Paula. I mean, she's also kind of mentioned that she was sick. We'll see on her podcast. We have like Ellie Salthouse, Grace Theck. These are like 70.3 kind of specialists that'll certainly be like in that, like what we're talking about in that mix where there'll be like a bunch of people that you're just not sure where the break's going to be. They'll all be in there. I do want to give a shout out to Lydia, our intern, Lydia Russell. I think she's going to pop off. I will tell you guys, she is going to have the fastest run split. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if she did, like, considering what she's raced. Yeah. I mean, she hasn't raced so much in the second half of the year. No. She sort of had a heavy broke her first half of the year and had some great...
She hit what are the things in Arizona that look like pigs? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no
Javelinas.
idea. She hit an animal.
She had hit a javelina on her bike and broke her collarbone. So
oh my gosh.
She's been back now.
The other WTS athlete that I wanted to mention, and her name confuses me because it starts with the wrong letter, but I think you pronounce it Jennifer Arnold, but it starts with a D, and she's Brazilian. And she hasn't raced much, but she has been undefeated in her couple of races.
She has raced a bunch in the last 3 weeks. Here's my only concern about Jennifer. She went from Wollongong, where she got 10th, I think, or 11th, to back to Brazil, won Florianopolis, then it came to Marbella. That is a round the world tour with a lot of racing in 3 weeks. Which obviously these athletes, like, that's what they do. They know how to do it. Some people are better at it. Like, some people recover better than others. It's not the same as like also having a job and trying to do that, or a different job, not a pro athlete job. She is someone else people have been talking that will be in that kind of like swim pack mix. Yes. All right.
Yeah. Again, maybe not there at the end, but definitely impacting the beginning bit.
It'll be interesting. Here's my before we're gonna do a quick pick for the men, but out of all of this, I said I think Kat's gonna win it. Who do you think's gonna win it? Who's your pick?
Yeah. Do I have to say different to you? Because I'm gonna. I think it's gonna be. I think Kat. She's had those second places. Mm-hmm. I think the fire is so strong.
Yeah.
If she's recovered, and we know how strong Kat is in terms of being able to race back to back and still have amazing performances. I think, the other thing to consider is there's the Ironman. Kat will not be thinking about the Ironman Pro Series. I'm sure she'll just want that world title. However, the little battle between Solveig and Kat to make sure they're whatever time in front of the other. But yeah, I think it's this year is Kat's.
It's Kat's
for the taking. The taking if she wants it. But you just don't know. You just don't know with Taylor. You just don't know, if Lucy gets off the front. And it's I found this one quite hard to pick.
All right, I think the even harder. We're not going to talk about the men as much. This is a women's triathlon podcast, but I actually think the men's race is even harder to pick because they have had a longer time between Nice and here. So you have. They've had more time to recover. So you have fewer of the big names dropping out just because they had 3 more weeks. But
also, so there is every champion of the every 70.3 champion since 2019 is on the start list.
Yes.
Only 3 from the top 10 in Topor last year are racing. 11 from the top 15 in Nice, which is about to contradict what I was about to say. There are 39 athletes on the men's field making their 70.3 World Championship debut.
Oh, really?
That is huge. And
That's
that to me shows like a turning of... I think that's the influx of short course athletes moving up into the middle distance. And hence, you just don't... And then that puts that whole like, you don't know potentially who...
Right. You have another like Rico Bogan comes out of nowhere type of situation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to come out of nowhere this year, but yeah.
Yeah. But you've got a whole bunch of like Miguel Hidalgo, Sam Dickinson, Jamie Riddle, Jonas Schomburg, Fabian Kraft as a few of those names who have moved up and could potentially kind of do well. But obviously you have the Norwegians, all 3 of them. Casper is the only one that hasn't won the 70.3 World Championship, but obviously he won in Nice. Jelle Gaines, obviously defending champion from last year. And then Rico Bogan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen Jelle race very much this year, but I think he's like hard to beat over this distance. I am going to tell you obviously we did this a couple weeks ago, like my heart pick is Gustav. He kind of seems, I literally saw someone do a top 5 picks and they didn't have him on there. And I was like, you don't have Gustav? He's won 2 of these. Like,
yeah.
How do you not have him on your picks?
And he's won 2 in the past 5 years.
And on a very similar courses. Like this is the kind of course he tends to do well at. And he's clearly back in form, so.
And not to go into too much detail on the men because it is about the women. I think one of the other ones to watch is the Italian, and I'm going to butcher his name, Alessio Crociani. He let out the water in Paris at the Olympics, and he finished 3rd at the WTS Grand Final, only being overtaken in the later stages, and he had the 2nd fastest swim and bike to, obviously, Matt Hauser. But I think, again, like we've not seen him massively over the 70.3 distance, but he's clearly he's one of these WTS athletes moving up and could be one of those that just comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
All right.
Or not
All right.
nowhere,
Are you going to make a pick? Are you going to make a pick? I'm saying Gustav.
Oh, no. You're going to go Gustav. No, I'll go Jelle.
Okay.
I'll go for defending champ.
Yeah, makes sense.
I have no idea on the men's, to be honest. Yeah.
All right. So it is this weekend. Women go on Saturday at, like we said, 7:50 a.m. Sorry, I'm about to start coughing.
Which is, I will, jump in. That is super late for us over here in the US. While Kelly's dying, I will carry on. So yes, the women are Saturday, about 7:50 European time. It's about midnight for me in Mountain Time, just 11:50. And the men are on Sunday, same time, I'm guessing.
So unfortunately for North Americans, men are same time on Sunday.
It's shit.
So unfortunately for North Americans, it is only on Outside Watch in North America, which means that you can watch it live for free. Totally great. But that will be 2 a.m., 4 a.m. our time. And you cannot watch it on a replay unless you are a member, an Outside Plus member. So that is unfortunate.
Oh, I did not know that.
That is my understanding. That has been the way it has worked for the last however many years. Unless they have changed that. Because people always ask me, like, how can I watch? Like, I want to... Unless they have changed that, or if you somehow record the live recording on your computer, then you could watch it.
Or screen, like, what is it?
Screen
record
shot,
your phone and keep it open all the time. I was just thinking, because I was sorting out a meeting that I have Saturday morning now, and I was like, okay, that'll be fine because I'll be up. And I was like, no, that's going to be at the end of the race. Am I now going to stay up from midnight through?
There you
and
go.
I think just because I have to do a couple of reports on it, I think I might have to do the all-nighters.
All right, well, too bad.
It's easier to watch it than,
It's easier to watch. And if you are not in North America, that is on YouTube and DAZN and like
and
Disney
Ironman
Plus
now.
in Latin America.
DAZN it is.
DAZN. Oh, good to know.
That is how you pronounce it.
And it's
so
Marbella.
I can tell you all this because I've been doing the if you watch the Fighting Chants presented by Hoka for episode 1 for Marbella, you will hear my dulcet tones and I can say that the coverage is on Ironman Now, Outside TV, DAZN, and L'Equipe.
There you go.
There we go.
So you should watch that. And it is I do think 70.3 Worlds is like my favorite event because it is like just so many people. Each of the races get their own day, but they're in the same place, right? So much fun. Next year we'll be back in Nice in 2026. Word in California is Oceanside is bidding for 2027, which would be cool.
Because
and then it's back in Nice.
Then
it's back in Nice in 28, and then it's in Oman in 29. So 27 is
Oman is 29.
Yeah,
okay.
so it needs to come back to North America generally, and 27 is the gap year. So anyway, that is the like kind of California gossip word. So just so people know.
I thought Oman was earlier than that, so I was like, why? How can California be 27? Isn't that Oman?
I believe Oman is 29.
Do you think California and Oceanside is the right? Like, is that a world championship course?
Technically, I mean, I don't know because it's not like my favorite course, and it's not. I don't know that it has enough room, and it goes to the base, which is the whole like hard to manage.
And they have the speed zone bit.
Right. So it's like so they might have to change it or something. I'm not sure exactly how they would deal with that. It is also, I don't know how you would fit 6,000 people in Oceanside, but still, it
is probably time for it to come back to
North America. Yeah.
North America.
As it makes its rotations. So that's just for everyone. Oh, and to close this out, my correction from last week, I think I might have said the T100 Dubai is the final, and it is not. It is next weekend.
No, Kelly.
But the final is in Qatar in a month. So that was
Qatar.
It's Qatar, actually, in Arabic, having taken Arabic. But that's not how we pronounce it.
Interesting. I was going to say
English.
it. Yeah.
So anyway.
So that's the same. It's wrote in German, but we always say Roth.
Yes.
Qatar.
But you say it, but that's not how we say Roth. We say Qatar.
No.
But
Qatar. How do you say it again?
Arabic is like Qatar.
In Arabic. Qatar. Interesting. Good to know.
But you have to say it with a better accent. I don't get the accent.
You do.
Right.
It is the road to Qatar. Yeah. I'm going to say it wrong. And it's Dubai next week.
Right. So I may have misspoken that last week. That is our correction for the week because we try to get things correct eventually.
Yeah. And it will be interesting again to see those people going from Marbella to Qatar. To Dubai.
Lots of racing still. And we will probably have Joanne and Katie back, and we will have guests again next week besides Sid, who has joined me. Thank you, Sid, for coming.
One little thing, sorry, before I know you're trying to cut me off. The interesting thing is Ashley Gentle is again not on the 70.3 start list. That's because she's focused on T100 this year, and she's been committed to that, and I have full respect to her. But it would be nice to see Ash at one of these 70.3 races one year.
She did last year. In New Zealand. She did last year.
Oh, she did. You're right. I apologize, Ash. She did. Yes. I just feel she's like, because I know the years before that she hadn't raced, and because she was getting married and various other things like that, and travel and stuff. Yes, that's right. She did a race last year. Okay, yes. Ash, forgiven.
She was third, I believe. So
the big news though, she didn't race Noosa.
I know. That is the one result we didn't talk about from this past week before we close out, because I was trying to close this out, Sid, was the Noosa Triathlon. And after 13 years, Ash Gentle did not race it. So we had a new women's champion, Jess Folachar. I don't think I said that right. But
Fulagar, I think.
Fulagar, the up-and-coming British triathlete who's Katie, who, if Katie was here, she would tell us all about, because she's been talking her up. So
yeah, well, she was fourth in Wollongong, I think Jess was. And interestingly, Jess was guiding for the British para tries a year or so ago. And then I think obviously then her own personal trajectory kind of raised up, and she needed to focus on that, which is awesome. But another great British.
Yeah. There's just so many of you.
Yeah. I know, and they're all good swimmers. I'm like, where did I miss that? Why did I miss out on that?
All right, Sid, thanks for joining me for our preview show on short notice. And if you liked the podcast, rate us, review us, share it. If you don't like it, give us 5 stars anyway. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Google, YouTube. Not Google. Google is YouTube. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. And we will be back next week.